Most men think color is about preference. After 40, color is about signal. Every shade you wear sends a message before you say a word. The wrong ones don't just look off, they actively work against you. They wash you out, harden your features, or make you look like you stopped paying attention somewhere around 2007. And here's the thing, most style advice won't tell you. The colors that age you aren't always the ones you'd expect. It's not just about avoiding loud or trendy shades. Some of the most aging colors are ones men wear every single day thinking they're playing it safe. They're not. What worked at 30 often stops working at 40. Your skin tone shifts, your hair changes, even the way light hits your face is different. And if your color palette hasn't evolved alongside you, your clothes are quietly undermining everything else you're doing right. This isn't about following trends or playing it conservative. It's about understanding which colors support you and which ones silently subtract from your presence every time you put them on. In this video, I'm going to walk through 10 colors that age men over 40, and more importantly, what to wear instead. These aren't opinions. They're patterns I've seen over and over again in the men who look sharp versus the ones who look tired. If your wardrobe feels like it's working against you instead of for you, this is probably why. Let's get into it. 1. All jet black. Jet black feels powerful, that's the appeal. Black jeans, black tees, black jackets. Sometimes all at once. On paper, it looks sharp. In practice, after 40, it often does the opposite. Here's why. Pure black creates maximum contrast, and maximum contrast isn't your friend anymore. It deepens shadows under the eyes. It sharpens lines you didn't ask to have sharpened. It makes even a well-fitted outfit feel flat and one-dimensional, more uniform than intentional. The issue isn't black itself, it's the severity of jet black when worn head to toe. There's no texture, no variation, nothing for the eye to rest on. It reads as either trying too hard or not trying at all. The fix is simple. Soften without losing depth. Charcoal, washed black, graphite, ink navy. These give you the same grounding effect without the harshness. They absorb light more gently. They layer better. And they let your face be the focus instead of competing with it. A jet black tee sits flat. A charcoal merino crew neck has dimension. That difference matters more than most men realize. If you're looking for a solid example, the Everlane merino sweater in charcoal hits the mark. Clean lines, quality wool, and a shade that works without overwhelming. The goal isn't to abandon black, it's to use it with intention instead of defaulting to it out of habit. And speaking of defaults that stop working, let's talk about a color combo that's quietly dragging down half the wardrobes I see. 2. Navy and gray. Together. On paper, navy and gray sounds safe. In reality, it's one of the flattest combinations a man over 40 can wear. Both colors are muted, both are cool toned, and when you pair them without enough contrast, they cancel each other out. The result isn't sophisticated, it's forgettable. You end up looking like you grabbed whatever was clean without thinking about how it works together. This combo shows up constantly. Gray trousers, navy blazer, maybe a light blue shirt underneath. It's corporate wallpaper. It doesn't offend anyone, but it doesn't command attention either. The fix isn't complicated. You need contrast, either in tone or texture. Swap the gray trousers for charcoal or cream. Add a white shirt instead of pale blue. Introduce a richer navy or break up the monotony with a textured knit or a different fabric weight. When navy and gray do work, it's because something else is doing the heavy lifting. A strong shoe, a standout watch, or a shirt in a warmer tone that bridges the gap. Without that, the whole outfit just sort of exists. If you want to see this principle in action, look at the J. Crew Pocket Tee in Natural E. Crew. It gives you a warm neutral that breaks up cool tones and adds life to a navy or gray layer. The point isn't that navy and gray are bad, it's that they need help. Left alone, they fade into the background, and so do you. Now let's talk about what happens when you go too far in the other direction. 3. Bright white. Bright white seems like a no-brainer. Clean, classic, works with everything. Except after 40, it doesn't always work with you. Here's the issue. Pure optical white is harsh. It reflects light directly back at your face, which sounds neutral until you realize what that actually does. It highlights every imperfection. Lines, discoloration, uneven skin tone, dark circles. Bright white puts a spotlight on all of it. This is especially true for men with lighter or warmer complexions. The contrast between stark white fabric and natural skin variation becomes more pronounced as you age. Instead of looking fresh, you can end up looking washed out or tired. The fix is a slight shift, not a dramatic one. Off-white, ecru, cream, ivory. These softer tones still read as clean, but they're gentler on your face. They create warmth instead of contrast. They work with your skin instead of fighting it. A bright white Oxford can feel clinical. A cream linen shirt feels intentional. The Rowing Blazers linen shirt in cream is a great example. Soft, relaxed, and warm enough to complement your complexion without competing with it. This doesn't mean you throw out every white shirt you own. It means you reach for softer versions more often, especially when the fabric is close to your face. And once you've dialed back the brightness, there's another end of the spectrum that needs attention too. 4. Neon and electric colors. This one seems obvious, but it still needs to be said. Neon green, electric blue, highlighter yellow. Any color that looks like it belongs on athletic gear or a traffic vest has no place in your everyday wardrobe after 40. It's not about being boring, it's about understanding what these colors actually communicate: youth, energy, and performance. That's fine in a gym. It's out of place everywhere else. When a man over 40 wears neon, he's not reading as bold, he's reading as trying too hard. It pulls focus for all the wrong reasons. Instead of looking confident, you look like you're compensating. The fix isn't to drain all color from your wardrobe, it's to choose richer, deeper versions of the same hues. Trade electric blue for deep marine. Swap neon green for forest or olive. Replace highlighter yellow with mustard or ochre. These tones still have presence, they still make a statement, but they do it with maturity instead of volume. If you want to add color intelligently, something like the J.Crew 770 straight pant in olive is a good starting point. Saturated enough to feel intentional, grounded enough to wear with confidence. Color after 40 isn't about playing it safe. It's about choosing shades that work harder for you instead of against you. Now let's talk about the opposite problem, colors that don't do enough. 5. Pale pastels. Pastels are everywhere in spring and summer collections. Soft pink, baby blue, mint green, lavender. They photograph well and they sell well. But on most men over 40, they quietly undermine everything else. The problem is contrast, or rather the lack of it. Pale pastels don't have enough depth to create visual structure. They sit against your skin and disappear, making the outfit feel unfinished. Worse, they can make your complexion look flat or sallow depending on your undertones. This isn't about avoiding color altogether. It's about avoiding colors that don't carry their weight. After 40, you need tones that hold up, shades with enough saturation to anchor an outfit instead of fading into the background. The fix is to go deeper. Instead of baby blue, try slate or chambray. Instead of soft pink, reach for dusty rose or terracotta. Instead of mint, go with sage or hunter green. These still bring warmth and variation, but they have enough body to stand on their own. If you're looking for a shirt that does this well, the Rice oversized shirt in dusty rose is a solid example. Soft enough to feel relaxed, saturated enough to actually show up. Pastels work in theory. In practice, they flatten most men over 40. Depth matters more than delicacy. If you're finding value in this, take a second to subscribe. I put out videos every week breaking down what actually works in menswear. No fluff, no trend chasing, just practical upgrades that make getting dressed easier. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. And speaking of colors that seem like good ideas but rarely deliver, let's talk about one that trips up more men than almost any other. 6. Orange. Orange is a bold choice, and bold can work when it's handled correctly. The problem is that most men reach for orange in the wrong tone. Bright, saturated orange reads loud and sporty. It's hard to pair, harder to dress up, and almost impossible to pull off casually without looking like you're headed to a tailgate. This is especially true after 40. Bright orange competes with your face instead of complementing it. It draws attention for the wrong reasons, and not in a way that suggests confidence or taste. But here's the thing, orange done right can actually be one of the best colors for men with warm undertones. The fix is shifting toward earthier versions: rust, burnt sienna, terracotta, cognac. These shades have all the warmth of orange without the volume. They pair better with navy, charcoal, and cream. They layer more naturally, and they age well, both on the garment and on the wearer. If you're looking for a way in, the Ienis Mian striped merino wool and cashmere sweater in rust is a beautiful example. Richly colored, textured, and grounded enough to wear year-round. Orange isn't the problem, the wrong orange is. Now let's move from color to palette, because one of the most common mistakes isn't a single shade, it's an entire approach. 7. All beige head to toe. Beige is neutral, neutral is safe, and head to toe neutral sounds sophisticated, until you actually see it in action. Wearing beige from top to bottom doesn't look refined, it looks washed out. The eye has nowhere to land. There's no structure, no focal point, no contrast. It all blends together into a muted blur that makes you disappear into the background instead of standing out from it. This shows up most often in casual settings. Tan chinos, oatmeal sweater, cream shirt. Individually, these are all solid pieces. Together, they flatten an outfit completely. The fix is contrast. One darker anchor, charcoal, deep navy, chocolate brown, changes everything. It creates visual weight. It gives the outfit structure. It keeps the eye moving instead of glazing over. You don't need to abandon neutrals, you just can't lean on them exclusively. If you're building around beige, pair it with something like the Rubinacci wool flannel trousers in charcoal. They add depth without adding noise, and they balance out softer tones effortlessly. Neutral palettes can look incredible, but only when they're layered with intention, not defaulted into because everything matches. And speaking of defaults, there's another variation of this problem that's even more common. 8. Faded, washed out neutrals. Neutrals are supposed to be versatile, but when they lose their depth, they lose their purpose. Faded beige, washed out gray, pale navy that's been through the laundry too many times. These aren't sophisticated, they're tired, and wearing them makes you look tired too. The issue isn't neutrality itself, it's the lack of richness. When a color has been drained of its saturation, whether by design or by wear, it stops contributing to the outfit. It becomes filler instead of foundation. This happens more than most men realize. That gray sweater you've had for years? It's probably not gray anymore. It's somewhere between gray and nothing. And it's quietly aging every outfit you put it in. The fix is to refresh with intention. Replace worn-out staples with pieces that have real color density. Charcoal with weight, navy with depth, brown with richness. Neutrals should feel grounded, not ghostly. A good baseline. The Buck Mason Tough Knit Tee holds its color wash after wash and carries enough weight to anchor a layered look. This isn't about chasing newness for its own sake, it's about recognizing when your staples have stopped pulling their weight. Now let's look at two colors that can elevate a wardrobe, when they're handled correctly. 9. Purple. Purple is polarizing. Some men swear by it, others avoid it completely. And both sides have a point, because purple is one of the hardest colors to get right after 40. When it works beautifully. A deep plum or aubergine can add sophistication to an otherwise standard outfit. It pairs surprisingly well with gray, navy, and camel. It feels distinctive without being loud, but when it's wrong, it's very wrong. Bright violet, lavender, and anything that leans electric reads costumey. It pulls focus in a way that feels unearned. It looks like a statement without the substance to back it up. The fix is simple. Stay deep. Muted plum, burgundy, wine. These have the richness of purple without the risk. They're warm, layered, and easy to integrate into a neutral wardrobe without dominating it. If you want to test this, the Dolce & Gabbana silk shirt in burgundy is a strong option. Rich enough to make a statement, textured enough to feel natural. Purple isn't something to avoid, it's something to choose carefully. When it's grounded, it's one of the most underrated additions to a mature wardrobe. And finally, let's talk about the color that more men get wrong than any other. Desmate's aggressive red. Red is attention, and after 40, the wrong kind of attention is worse than none at all. Bright red, fire engine red, cherry red, these shades don't communicate confidence. They communicate volume. They pull focus before you've said a word, and not in a way that feels earned. This is especially true with casual pieces. A red polo, a red crew neck, a red windbreaker. They're visually aggressive in a way that rarely works outside of very specific contexts. Most men who wear bright red look like they're trying to be noticed, rather than naturally commanding a room. The fix is to tone it down without losing warmth. Muted burgundy, wine, rust, and brick red all carry the depth of red without the shout. They're rich, confident, and easy to pair with everything from navy to charcoal to cream. These shades add character without demanding attention. They complement instead of compete. If you're looking for a way to introduce this into your rotation, the Wolf and Badger Merino wool beanie hat in brick red is an understated entry point. Adds warmth and texture without shouting. Red isn't off the table, it just needs to be used with restraint. And here's what most men miss about color. It's not about rules, it's about signal. Every shade you wear sends a message about your taste, your awareness, your presence. The question isn't whether a color is good or bad. It's whether it's working for you or against you. And after 40, that calculation changes. Jet black gets harsher. Bright white gets harder to wear. Neon starts to look desperate. Pastels fade into nothing. And faded neutrals quietly drain the life out of every outfit they touch. But the opposite isn't dressing like a ghost. It's choosing colors with more intention. Softer blacks, richer greens, deeper reds, warmer whites. These don't call attention, they command it. And the best part? When you get color right, everything else becomes easier. Fit starts to feel sharper, fabrics look better. The whole wardrobe starts working together instead of against itself. Color after 40 isn't about playing it safe, it's about playing it smart. If this shifted how you think about your wardrobe, you'll want to check out my next video. It's the natural next step, and it'll help you keep building on what you started here. I'll see you there.